I did my thing with WWE, and now to have this opportunity, thanks to Rocky Romero, with New Japan, the sky's the limit for me, man. And the response so far has been tremendous, man. uh, Everyone's been saying that I, I'm a great fit there, and that means the world to me, especially the respect of your peers, for them to say that everything that they're watching is really translating well on TV. So, it means the world to me.
Now, you mentioned Rocky Romero. Was he the person who made contact with you? How did that happen? I'm really interested to see how this unfolded.
Yeah, well, how it all happened was last year, September, I ran into a show with Lance Hoyt in Pomona, California, and him and I came up in the FCW system in 2010. So fast forward to 2019 in Pomona, California, when I ran into him at a show, and he had gave me this flyer, this New Japan flyer that they were doing a show at the Globe Theater. So I saved it. He gave this to me September 2019. And November 11th at 7 p.m. at the Globe Theater, New Japan was doing a show. So he gave this to me. I held on to it. The show was at 7, and I got there at 5 to meet all the wrestlers and to kind of feel the ring out a little bit. September 11th, tomorrow will be 18 years I've been wrestling. I still wanted to feel the ring because it's a different ring. It's a hard ring. And I wanted to be able to watch the show from beginning to end to see if I fit in. And that was the one question that was going through my head, because I was in their little VIP section watching the show from beginning to end. And that same question, I'm here to see, do I fit in? Do I fit in? Do I fit in? And after it was all said and done and the show was done, I said to myself, man, I can hang with these guys. I can really go. And I talked to Rocky Romero after the show, and I said, man, I've wrestled all over the world, but anytime WWE was doing a tour of Japan, I was always on a different tour. I was either on the UK tour or not on tour at all. So it's always been a bucket list of mine to compete for New Japan. And I told Rocky that. And this was November of 2019. Fast forward to 2020, January and February, I had signed on to do my first ever musical, off-Broadway musical, where I was singing, dancing, and acting in New York. So the reason why I did that was because it was an opportunity to kind of step out of the wrestling box and to do something different. And it was Chris Jericho that not literally encouraged me, but from his stint on Dancing with the Stars, I said to myself, well, if he can do it, so can I. So I signed on to do this musical January and February of this year, and it was the best decision I ever made. And I would do it again in a heartbeat. And then the pandemic hit in March, and it is what it is. Fast forward to May of this year, May or June of this year, Rocky Romero had called me up, and he told me about this opportunity with New Japan, and I was on cloud nine. I said, Rocky, let me just get back to you. I gotta talk to my family, and my family gave me the blessing to give it a shot. It sounds like a great opportunity because they were following the protocol with the COVID testing and all that stuff. And I called up Rocky. Well, actually, I hadn't told my family. So, Rocky told me about this opportunity. And then 2 days later, Rocky texted me again and was like, have you talked to your family? I said, Rocky, I'm going to talk to him this afternoon or at night and get their blessing. So I finally talked to my family, and they blessed me with the opportunity to compete with New Japan. And I called up Rocky and I said, yeah, let's do it. So I was, finally able to do it. I do a podcast, Pro and Bro Wrestling. So I was happy that I was finally able to kind of, not be on the outside. Now I can kind of have my cake and eat it too. Watch WWE and all the wrestling organizations with no fans. I'm doing a podcast. I haven't experienced the no fans yet. So now I'm able to do a podcast and talk about my New Japan experiences with no fans. Now the fans are so important. They help cushion the abuse, the blows that we take in the ring. The crowd is so important. But something happens, man, when I hit that New Japan curtain. It's like all my attention is on my opponent, and on working the cameras. The cameras are important. That's what you're going to be seeing. You know what I mean? So all my attention on my opponent and the cameras. That's all I'm thinking. So the fans are important, but when I'm in the zone, like, I still feel like the place is rumbling.